Good morning, good afternoon, and a wonderful good evening. Welcome to the Pivotal Podspective. This is, of course, our show, mine, your host, Elliot Brown, and my wonderful co-host,
Mr. Adrian Dorbantu. Hello to everyone.
Hey, everybody. It's our show where we are on a quest to get all the best guests. Wow, that's a good line. We're going to use that again. From everywhere to come and chat about things that have helped them pivot, or ideas they've got to help others pivot, or things that they get their clients to do to pivot. It's all about pivoting. This year, more than ever, we are wanting to help as many of you guys to pivot and grow and just level up personally and professionally. How are you, Adrian?
I'm very well, thank you, Elliot. It's been a great day today. Sunny here, about 20 degrees. What about you?
Nice. It's actually been sunny here in the UK, actually, funnily enough, which is all good. So we're happy about that. Well, listen, guys, wherever you are, I'm hoping it's sunny. If it isn't, make it sunny by giving us all a smile and give us some love hearts or some thumbs up, which you can do in the comments, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube or on Twitter, which is we're going out on all of those platforms, big waves. Big love to you all. Thank you very much for joining us. Hi, Fern, Liz King. Thank you for joining us. And if you are joining us, let us know you're watching live and where you're watching from as well, because we're really intrigued to find out where you guys are. And if you're watching on a replay and afterwards, so tomorrow or the next day, although this is today for you, then let us know by putting hashtag replay and where you are watching from. But you absolutely joining the show. We want you to join the show. So drop a comment in below or ask us a question and we can bring that onto the screen and involve you with the show. Well, today is Social Media Madness. And we are chatting with today's guest extraordinaires. It's social media paid ads and lead specialist, Charlie Roberts, and social media team builder and strategist, Deasha. Waddup. It is madness out there on social media. Do we ever really know what to do to create the best content and how to get it onto the right platforms and profiles? I don't know, do we? And exactly what time of the day to do that? These are all questions we need to answer. How do we then get the right content in front of the right people, the ideal client, your perfect customer, or your perfect avatar, as we are definitely referring to them to these days. Plus, on top of that, and many answered questions. What about organic posts and paid ads as well? What's the difference and the best you can get from them? So tell me about Charlie Roberts, Adrian.
So Charlie Roberts teaches social media marketing to small business owners through, in his words, an extensive course, giving them the invaluable skill of being able to create paid social media adverts on popular platforms. Not only the technical aspects, but also educate them on how, culturally, advertising has changed in the last 5 to 10 years. So now it's your turn, Elliot, to talk about Deasha.
So Deasha, what up? Word. And we'll find out why we said that, because we found out a little laugh before the show. So I'm not slating the name. I think it's a great name, in fact. She helps clients create digital marketing ecosystems that attract clients daily. She gives advice on what they can do in their business right now to shift direction and attract clients that will pay them, and says that they don't need a big ad spend and massive team to grow their business, but in fact she advises and helps to build and manage teams to help 6- and 7-figure businesses with their social media. Well, without further ado, Adrian, let's bring our guest extraordinaires onto the show. Woo! Woo! Hey! Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, thank you. News?
We are on top form this evening.
Yeah, the Fantastic Four.
The Fantastic Four. We've been looking forward to a show like this. As I said before we start recording, we're going to absolutely smash everything that we don't know about social media. So I'm going to be getting some answers. Adrian definitely is as well. And we're going to be getting the best answers for you guys. If you want any questions you've got about social media, this is the night to make sure you ask them. So we're going to try and find out the answers. And if they don't have the answers, we will be taking the piss. Don't you worry about that. Deasha, you're in Manchester with your freshly
plastered, yeah.
Wall.
Yeah.
Talking about plastered.
The builders are coming back next week, so I'm told. They started in February, so it's been a long process.
It's going to be lockdown. They're not going to be able to.
Probably, yeah. That's good timing. I'll still be here in plastered walls in February.
and learning that you've got a gin bar in your house as well. Being plastered is definitely more on the agenda than just the walls, right?
Yeah, always after a gin, after a long day of work.
Yeah, in my opinion, just I don't know, take down one of those bottles of gin and finish the job yourself. It's way easier, you know.
Cover myself in pain.
That could be interesting. I definitely want to see some pictures of that when you do that.
Yeah.
Charlie, you're here in Essex, just down the road from where I am. Adrian, although he's got an Essex Business Radio T-shirt on, is in Romania, but you're in Chelmsford, right?
I am indeed, not far at all.
Yeah, and we've met briefly as well.
We have indeed
at a networking morning, very early, not very pleasant time of the day to be networking. I have to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more.
We'll leave that one there, shall we?
That's why none of you are attending those. That's why none of you are attending those meetings anymore.
Basically.
Yeah,
I think that's got something to do with it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, listen, guys, we're going to get straight in with it because social media is, as I said, it is madness. It is a minefield, isn't it? You know, you've both got, skills in different areas. All, one goal is to find the best way for clients, for the audience as well, to work. And Deasha, you work, help to build teams and quite strategic in the way you work, and quite on organic level as well, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I'm all about the organic marketing and getting out there and getting stuff for free.
yeah, definitely. And which is good because in the other corner, ding ding, with Charlie, you're really about the paid ads and lead generation, which Adrian knows from early days when I was talking to Adrian. That's where I think you can get some of the best growth. I think more recently I've learned that a real good strategy to mix the two up is where you really want to be if you really want to be pushing ahead. And I'm not saying neither of you do that. I know you both do both sides, but it's good to get that both sides of the conversation going for sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, do you know what? I definitely want to find out a little bit about organic. So we're going to start off with that. I mean, obviously it's a free-for-all chat, so we're going to go with it. But tell me, Deasha, tell me something that works right now really, really well on an organic level. Is there anything that is sort of stands out from the rest that works really well right now?
Apart from OnlyFans account.
Apart from OnlyFans account.
I only learned about that through TikTok recently. Okay. I'm too naive. Videos and live videos are absolutely the thing to do for organic reach. On a business page right now, you're looking at around 4% reach organically of all of your likes. But if you can do live videos, they say that a live video over a pre-recorded video is about 238% more effective and more engaging. So that would be my number one top tip is videos.
Absolutely. It's funny because we've been talking about this a lot. The video is definitely the big movement. And I'm pleased you said that, actually, because that's an arena that we got into through doing this, I suppose, really. The video side of things is, well, it's what's moved TikTok on and, IG Reels and, all of that has moved on because of that. I mean, before Facebook was already moving to their algorithms and things, but focus more on the video. Adrian and I saw this in the last 12 months. They were doing that. Of course, then TikTok sort of starts rising up the ranks, and then Facebook goes, right, let's do something with Instagram here because we're losing some traction like quite rapidly. And now, especially talking to Sophie, I mentioned this earlier on the social side, the traction is just off the chart on IG Reels against just doing normal posts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Reels is insane. It's 100% where you want to be if you're trying to build an Instagram right now. But do try and get creative, because I've seen a lot of business people do the post pointing thing. Everybody's doing that, and it's really boring. Just get a little bit more creative with your videos rather than pointing at phrases.
But this is difficult, right? This is the problem, and I'm speaking for everybody out there in a service industry. What the hell do you do when you don't have a product? I mean, just doing a silly dance isn't going to work. Changing clothes isn't going to work. What would you be an idea to maybe just try and think about something different? What would you try and pick up that would work for somebody doing that? Because I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I think about doing it, and I have no idea what I would do.
Copy others.
Thinking outside of the box. I saw somebody who did one really creative yesterday, actually, and it was jumping into a pool. And she's service-based business, and it was all around taking the leap and doing something new in your business.
It's cool.
Like that.
I don't have a pool. Not reach. Where I'm supposed to jump in the bathroom?
You can jump into your bath.
Toilet. Okay, good.
I suppose you could edit it, couldn't you? And you could be jumping off something into mid-air these days, to be fair. Couldn't you do something?
But yes, jumping in someone else's pool, that's funny. Yeah, because you're going to get chased, you're going to get some action over there. So yeah, it's way better.
We're not going to jump in this pool at the moment because it's got a net over the top of it. So that's not going to work, is it?
Yeah, that would be funny as well. Just try to jump till you break the net. So that would be quite a good video, I suppose.
I might give it a go. Oh, okay. So that is actually quite a good way to think about it. Yeah, if you're trying to think about a phrase that you want to do, then make it create some sort of action to make that phrase work rather than just having pointing. Because I think the moving a word up or down the screen and pushing something over and pointing to it, it's a bit old hat now, isn't it? I mean, TikTok's not been going that long, but that's a bit old hat now, right?
Yeah. People are over that. You have to be creative in a different way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Charlie, is there any sort of input on that side? I mean, what is it that you would sort of look to do if have you done much on the sort of IG Reels or TikTok or work with anybody on that side?
Yeah, I do some IG Reels. I tend to spend more time on paid, as we mentioned at the start, even though IG Reels is as hot as. But the way I think of it is you can only focus on one thing at a time and become really good at it. So I just do Facebook ads. So if you're really good at being creative and you want to do IG Reels and make it work for you, you should spend all of your time doing that. Because as soon as you split your focus between Reels or Facebook post or paid or organic, like nothing gets done half-heartedly. You don't become good at something.
I think you're absolutely right as well. If you're going to get somebody that's going to do these things, you'd come to both of you basically and go, look, I need to be doing these bits, and I also need to do those. Actually, trying to do those all yourself is a bit of a head fuck, to be honest. And I think we've all done it where we try to spread ourselves too thin. Adrian, we've definitely been party to doing those things before and trying to do too much, haven't we?
I think we still do, but yeah.
Reassuring.
But in doing those things though, Deasha, it's not necessarily always about getting loads of likes, loads of reactions from that. Often, from what I've learned, you correct me if I'm wrong, but what we've learned recently in doing some of the shows is that it's great to get people to move over, to get some traffic to go and follow Instagram, for example. If it's from TikTok or Instagram, you may want to get them over onto YouTube, for example, or get them to go and see something else. So that's quite a good way of doing that, isn't it? If you find that traction there and use that as a tool to drive traffic.
Yeah, so the main thing, especially with organic, is having so many different touch points where people can consume your content, even if it's the same type of thing. As a lot of people are like, but I don't want to post the same thing on everything. I'm like, well, why not? Because people don't see things the first time they see it.
Yeah, of course.
And because we're consumed by so much information at the moment anyways.
Definitely.
So the more times they see it, the more chance they are of actually taking notice and reading it or watching it. So don't be afraid of sharing the same things on different platforms, and you can just use it slightly differently. People won't see it until they're ready to see it.
Yeah, for
I think a lot of people get in their own way with that, and they don't want to be seen posting the same thing everywhere because all the same people are going to see it. But you're absolutely right, bang on the money. People don't, see it the first time at all.
Yeah.
And I think people posted in their own way.
In lots of Facebook groups, and one person commented saying, "I've seen this in a lot of Facebook groups," and I was like, "Yes, but this is the first time you've commented, so thank you so much for finally making my post."
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, there used to be. I mean, but back in the day, marketing was done through magazines and newspaper ads and things like that. You repeatedly saw the same ad, whether you're on the tube, whether you're in a newspaper, it was on TV. I mean, the way they used to work was, I can't remember. It was like there was a minimum of 6 times or something like that you saw something before you noticed it. I don't think that's changed. I think it's exactly the same as it used to be. And I think you're absolutely right. There should probably be a little more repetition that we do. And I've not thought about this until now, that you should maybe repeat certain things on social as opposed to trying to create a different post and a different ad every single time. Paid ads, for example, may well appear in front of the same person a number of times because they understand that. On an organic level, I do think people get trapped into thinking they've got to do a different post every single time. Hey, listen, I definitely do that. We do that. Do you think, and we're going to get to the paid in a second, but just very quickly, because I've just thought about it. Is there anything in that, Deasha, that you would maybe worth maybe repeating the same stuff on your socials?
Yeah, absolutely. So for when I launch something, for example, I'm launching a new course at the moment. I use the same content. I launched it a couple of months ago because I saved it. I've got it all in a content management system. All of the content is done. It means this time I'm launching, I have to create anything new because I've done it.
Yeah.
And it worked well last time, so why change it? It's still the same thing. I'm still promoting the same thing, so the content's still relevant. And there's some posts that I share that always get loads of interaction. So every few months I share them again. Yeah. Because people don't see them, or I've got new people following me now and things like that. Like there's a post I share about 2 profiles. You're not allowed 2 personal profiles on Facebook.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I think that's common knowledge, but it blows people's minds every time I say it. People are like, "Oh my God, no, I've got 2 profiles. What do I do?" And I'm like, I posted it a couple of months ago. It's not changed from that to this one, but okay, now you're ready to see it.
Yeah.
And I've just
using the same content. Good idea.
Yep, do it.
Yeah. I think it is. Definitely, it's looked over because you don't often see the same thing. I mean, when we first started with Essex Business Radio, I regularly put, which is mad when you think about it now, but actually regularly put the same logo up time and time again. Every day the same logo would go because it was completely new and wanted it to be seen and noticed. So actually, I suppose I sort of thought about that without realizing it. And the same thing about the app might go up. And I think, but I see a lot of people's posts, they don't do that. Every single time there's a different post. So how are you going to get noticed when every single time there's something different? You haven't always got to give a different message and a different image and a different bit of copy. Or you put the same image and maybe a different copy. So then maybe they might read, "Oh, this is slightly different." So maybe there's a way of playing about with things there. Okay, cool. I just thought about that.
Blog content. You constantly want to share your blogs and things like that as well. So that is the same content you're going to share again and again and again.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
People will be ready to see it when they're ready to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, and I just wanted to show you, like, this is the best example of organic posts. So that's why this is Elliot's mom. Hello, Elliot's mom. So,
hi, Mom. Big love to you. Thanks for watching.
Organic, followers and reach and growth and things like that. And everyone knows Elliot's mom now because in every episode she's present. So obviously this show wouldn't be the same if Elliot's mom one day would just...
It wouldn't be the same without you, Mum. I don't know what you're trying to sell or whether you are selling something, but it's working. Everyone knows who you are.
Elliot, feel free. Just type in here in the comments how much people should pay for him, and we can sort something out.
Anybody else, of course, if you're watching, then drop us a comment and just say hi. We'll bring you onto the show. Any questions you've got about social media marketing, then let us know. Charlie touched on that quickly, of course. The same ads do pop up in front of people. We know that. We all know that from going on Facebook if we use it, because if it's sponsored and it's something we're interested in, we'll see the same one, or we'll see something slightly different that will pop up from the same people. I mean, it works well, right? I mean, Facebook ads, it's got to be one of the best tools out there for marketing yourself, even now, even with all the changes and things going on, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, I'm going to back it because
that's what you do.
But I think the biggest challenge I think people find is that they don't think that their market's on Facebook, and I'm sure Deasha will have the same, not complaint but query. And someone's got a very specific business maybe, and they just think, oh, I don't think my ideal client's got to be on Facebook, and they're all on LinkedIn or something to this effect. But I think with over 2.5 billion users, I just don't think that's true.
Yeah,
in fact, it's not true. Yeah, that everyone's on it. Every man and their dog. 1 in every 4 minutes is spent on social media. So it's ads is ridiculously powerful. But I always find it's either a fine balance. Businesses have either got money to spend and very little time, or businesses have not got a budget for marketing but plenty of time.
Yeah.
So depending on that case, and it's probably so with Deasha, I'll urge them to either do organic or paid, because I mean both are just phenomenal ways of getting out there, just because of social media and where we are today. But yeah, paid ads for me is just nothing.
And the best form. Would you agree that video is also one of the best forms to get your ad noticed?
100%. So like 83% of content on social media is video, so it's the strongest medium by far. And going back to what we was talking about earlier, where it has to be, you have to do something crazy to not to get attention, but you need to do something that's entertaining and at the same time, hopefully educational. So like edutainment is like the best mix. Where
I love edutainment. That's what we're all about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, precisely. So not only do you engage in and people get to like, know, and trust you, but you also provide value. And like you said, they always have a call to action at the end of any piece of content, whether it's organic or an ad or a blog post, a huge call to action to constantly drive people to your sales process or your sales funnel, however you want to work it.
And go on, Adrian, sorry.
So we have Dominic who said evening.
Hi, Dominic. Big love to you. Thanks for watching.
Then we have your mom that says it's a very heart-touching moment, trying for you to come to Spain and miss you.
You'll make me choke. You'll choke me. I'm all choked up.
Elliot, mom, I promise I'll do my best to get Elliot deported.
Hey, she could be speaking to any one of us, to be honest, trying for you to come to Spain. She might want us all to come to Spain, to be honest. Yeah, we'd be there like seriously, at the drop of a hat, mum, if we could do, we'd be there.
I went last month.
I'll piss off.
I got itchy feet. I couldn't resist, and I was self-isolating anyways, working from home.
Nice. Can you just put her off air, Adrian? Or done.
Yeah.
So Dominic's saying, I struggle with social media as have multiple businesses, so find hard to juggle all the posts. Yeah, big issue, Dominic. I mean, listen, from my point of view and what we've learned, absolutely get a tool that is going to help you to distribute. If you're going to do it yourself, rather than go to Charlie or Deasha, for example, or anybody like these guys, then get a tool to distribute those for you. There are plenty of tools out there. There's some that are free. I wouldn't go for the free ones. I would definitely be spending money. It will save you a shitload of time just spending the money on something that's a little more adaptable to each profile and each platform as well. Would you agree with that? Yeah,
absolutely. I've just started using a software called Agora Pulse.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
And it's fantastic because they have a big ad strategy as well. So with Agora Pulse, I can bring in all the comments from the ads and monitor the team as they reply to them and see what they're saying and if they've responded and which ones they haven't responded to. So for that purpose and team management and being able to actually see everything, obviously, I don't know, Charlie, when you run ads, if you can see all the comments, it drives me insane because you have to check the notifications and then see them and you lose them all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, in terms of getting back to the engagement on there, it is a little bit of a slow burn. You have to go and check it yourself. But in terms of paying for things and not using free trials for both organic and paid or any tool to help you with anything, Absolutely, I agree. Always go for the paid version, because what I find often is businesses always look at things like that as an expense rather than an investment. You know, you got to spend money to make money. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, Agora Pulse. You know, Adrian, we've looked at. We use Agora Pulse. We've definitely advised social media person Sophie that now works with us as well to utilize that for our own profiles in the business for Essex Business Radio as well and things like that. But also now she loves it so much. It's such a it's such an easy tool to use. I'd never heard of it until 6-7 months ago, and it seems that it's really blowing up. A lot of people are starting to use this now. But there are other tools out there. I mean, you know, I'm definitely going to promote that or tell you about that because I think it's a great tool. So Dominic, get on there. I mean, for $100 $100 a month, you're going to get 7 or 8 different 8 or 9 profiles. So that should pretty well cover you for what you need. But of course, you then got to come up with the content. You've then got to come up with the copywriting and the images and things like that. So that doesn't always make it easy. It sometimes makes it a little more complicated. It just makes it easier to distribute, basically.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's what I want to say to Dominic, that's the first step, getting a tool like that. But even then you're going to realize, in my opinion, especially if you have multiple businesses, it's hard enough with one, to be honest. All right. Especially if you're not a very creative person. Second step, you need a social media manager. All right. And, but you also need to provide content. So you need to be aware of that. If you need anything like that, get in touch with Elliot Brown from Essex Business Radio.
Listen, I mean, we've started talking about creating some sort of sheets, right? And I know there's loads of people who do this, but we're starting to get people a lot more interested in some of the shows we've done. We're going to do a media kit pack, and are we going? What was the one from yesterday, Adrian? What was going to create something from that?
Like a brand manual.
Manual, just some basic stuff just to help you with that. And also, what we will be doing, we will be sorting out, a bit of a social media Excel spreadsheet thing where you could just basically drop a few bits into there just to help you start building up some content. I don't know whether you do this yourself, guys, but if you go through and you look at loads of people's things, it becomes a head mash. But what you want to then do is go, sometimes through the day you might see something. Joe, I'll take a copy of that. Pop that into your Excel. Start building up some stuff so that when you want to come to it, you can pull that information, pull a bit of copy. Listen, take some stuff other people are doing. You don't have to reinvent everything. Just word it for yourself. I don't know whether that's a good thing to do, guys, or not, but that's how I would start if I was going to do it.
Order your content on that. Never copy, like you say, but like the amount of times I've gone onto business pages and then hit page transparency and then gone and check out what ads they're running. Sitting copy and content and then modeling it so it's not libelous.
Yeah. Very diplomatic.
People are paying for it already, and So
listen, I mean, we spoke about this, 3 months ago when we were sort of doing tips, didn't we, Adrian? And we were talking about sort of freebies. I mean, that's a great place to learn. Go over there. If they're paying for ads and they've been running them for any longer than about two months, then they are working. They're very, very rarely have people got enough money that they just leave ads running. Some do, admittedly, but rarely do they do that. Particularly if they're successful. When you have a look and they've got loads of people that come there and there's lots of engagement. Go on there, have a look at what they're doing, and then create something of your own. Definitely the best place on Spy on Your Comp, which was a show we did nearly 4 months ago now, Adrian, isn't it?
Yeah, you also have softwares, in order to help you with that and actually show you the engagement of that, maybe, and a few other things. But I don't think it's really necessary. Just go and actually look on the ad library on Facebook and get some examples from there.
Yeah.
I use a software called Airtable to store all my content. So it has I can put in specific Facebook copy, Instagram copy, LinkedIn copy, all that sort of stuff, and I love it.
Oh, Mr. Analytical over here fucking loves a bit of Airtable, don't you?
Yeah, I got so excited.
It is. I've never looked at it, but Adrian's mentioned it a few times. I mean, it's that's definitely Listen, I mean, you got to pick up information. Data is key. He said this time and time again, and it's not all about getting some bloody printout or printout. You don't do printouts anymore. We don't have dot matrix printers in our offices, do we? But you know what I mean. You don't get like a report. It's not always about getting reports. It's just building up information. Get data, whatever information you can get. And I would say this time and time again. do not look at somebody that you think is direct competition. Look at somebody where you want to be, guys, because they're the people that are doing the ads where you want to be. Don't look at your direct competition, because who says they're doing it right if they're on the same level as you? They may be, but look above that. Aim higher. Aim high, guys. Aim high. But yeah, so listen, there's some great little tips there. I love that, the Agora Pulse, and there's some other stuff, and looking at these. Oh, I love this. It's getting juicy. But it is still madness, guys. I mean, even though you do this, there's often changes. There's a lot of shit going on to change what is going on social. The big shift has been, this year with all the demographics, or not demographics, but things changing within Facebook. There's been a lot of big changes there. Settled down now, but there were some big changes that messed a lot of ads up. Is it? Oh, here we go. Here we go, Adrian. Tell us different.
No, I think the changes they are always constant. And now I think the biggest change is the fact that they just roll out the program. They have rolled out the program in North America where they try to unify. I'm not sure if you remember, I've told you they try to unify everything, like Instagram. The message, first of all, the messages, on Instagram, Facebook Messenger, emails, and telephone numbers and things like that. So they try to. They're on a continuous change, and we don't really know much about that, including about the Pixel. I found out some things today that the Pixel might go away very soon. And what they try to actually tweak in straight into your hosting or server, and they get the data straight from there. You don't have to install any piece of code on your website. You straight on the server and things like that. Which is not a bad thing, to be honest, because it's going to make things a bit smoother, a bit more correctly, and
make my job easier.
And it's not going to make your website slow.
so the Facebook Pixel they may get rid of that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but still have it, but under a different form. So
a different form.
Your server, yeah, exactly.
What's the benefit to doing it a different way? Is it just to change it up a bit?
Easier access to the data and more control over it, because then they're gonna set up things for you, events and stuff like that.
I see. Oh, well, we're going to be watching that space, definitely. Of course, Adrian likes to find this information out. So we're saying, hey, listen, there could be people, there could be thousands of people, if we had thousands of people watching, of course, that would learn from these shows. And I'd absolutely advise you to share this out there, because there's stuff that gets brought up. Adrian knows that people just don't know this shit, to be honest. And you're like a wealth of knowledge, Adrian, aren't you? You're like an encyclopedic.
Almost like James Mays of Top Gear for Essex Business Radio, yeah. For Essex Business Radio.
I quite like that. We're going to take that clip and we're going to be using that at some stage in the near future for sure.
Hey.
I love it.
So video, we're definitely reckoning is the biggest thing, right? Now let's talk about static stuff, right? As in like an image and quotes and things like that. That we probably get a bit overused now, but we all still use them to a certain extent. What's a no-no that you guys think, and what is yet a good thing to do? So first of all, what's a no-no right now that people have been doing for a while that you think really you shouldn't be doing that? It's a waste of you doing a post, or a waste of you doing an ad if you're going to use a quote, for example, or I don't know, some still image of something. Is there anything that sort of springs to mind, guys? Or let's go with Deasha first.
I don't think there's anything that I would say is not okay. Pictures of faces I love. You buy from people. So pictures that have meaning or of faces are better than a sunset. Because that, especially, it doesn't have any meaning. Dogs, people love dogs. I have a very cute dog, but I am biased. But people go mad when I post a picture of my dog.
I know they do. Yeah, I don't get it myself. Obviously, that's my own opinion, and not that of the shows.
I mean, kids are the same. People go crazy about kids. I'm not a kid person, so I'm like, eh. But dogs.
So you just compare kids with dogs now.
They're the highest engagement thing. Kids and dogs.
They are. What about cats?
I'm not a cat person, but they do get good engagement.
You see
videos.
I wasn't a cat person, but bloody COVID brought us a cat that adopted us and then dropped 5 kittens on us as well within about I know. And I'm really not an animal person to be fair. One of them actually I've fallen in love with him. He's cool as fuck, but that's another thing. But yeah, you're right. You know, pets. But when it comes to business, you're not going to stick a picture of some people do, to be fair, a picture of their dog. I've seen posts about, his pet in the office day or some shit like that. And there's the engagement I see on it. All these pictures of people with there's one thing, even if I listen, whether you like dogs or cats or not really one for dogs or pets in the office. Not really my bag, to be fair, but that's my personal opinion. But yeah, but faces work, right? I think pictures of who's in the business works really well. And I think you're right. As opposed to having a sunset with a silhouette of somebody climbing up a mountain or whatever, which is, supposed to be peak performance or whatever the hell it is, they're a bit overused now, aren't they? Those things, don't you think?
Yeah. They don't do any purpose. They don't tell a story. They're just overdone. You can tell, and this is because I spend a lot of time on stock imagery sites, I guess. I can tell instantly if someone's used a stock image. I don't know if this is a normal thing. Normal people who don't spend a lot of time on images might not know.
As soon as you to see it, it's like,
yeah. I mean, the business ones where they're behind a bit of frosted glass or something, and then they've got like a board, and they're shaking hands. Yeah.
I know. Well, there needs to be some new ones where they touch elbows.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that. Hey, listen, talk about the touching elbows thing. I don't know why this never took off, but when I remember this all kicked off at the beginning of the year, there was this sort of a foot thing where you did both feet. Did you ever see that one? So you tap both feet. Why has that never taken off? I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I think we're going off subject a little bit, to be fair.
Yeah. I think it's for Charlie's now to answer the question that you've asked.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Charlie. So what would you say is a no when it comes to the paid ads? I mean, there's a lot of no paid ads I've seen as well. Let's face it.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it's slightly different to organic. I mean, I'm sure things do get pulled when Facebook pays attention, but especially for paid ads, there's policies and terms and conditions, like no before and after photos and no guarantee you can earn $1 million in a week and things like that. So often, if it's images, like Deasha says, people buy from people first and foremost. So it would be a video or a picture of yourself that's loosely connected to your business. And if it's an image, usually, again, it would be either a view or something called like a pattern interrupt to stop people from scrolling. So they'll be scrolling like a bold image or something that's just ridiculous or like, I don't know, a weird painting. That actually isn't linked to your business, but it's got that stopping power. And then because they've been targeted, it could well be of interest to them. It gets them to read that copy. But yeah, lots of ads go to the graveyard because of the terms and conditions. Constantly changing, which is really good fun for me to read through monthly. I'm just thinking of something as well. Text on images, right? I know that Facebook at one stage did not like a certain amount. It was like over 25% of the image to not have text on it. Yeah.
Now, I don't know how this works. And I'm assuming if you have a massive budget, that they don't give a shit about how much text you have on there. Because I've seen a lot of paid ads, not so much recently because it's definitely gone more video, but when I know I tried stuff out last year and it worked, and then they'll pull it because of a certain amount of text. You reduce the text, and it wouldn't make any difference. They just keep rejecting it. And then I'd go and see somebody that's clearly got a big ad spend, running like 20 bloody ads, and they got text all over it, yet they're still running.
Yeah, I know.
Is there a leniency for if you've got some more money in the bank when it comes to spending on ads? I mean, I don't know. Is there?
Well, I don't know. Almost probably. Like any business, there's always a favour for the rich. Absolutely. But in terms of the text on images, now you can put text on images now without any.
Oh, can you?
Punishment.
Yeah, they took out the limit. Yeah.
Yeah. Why? Really? I don't know, and I don't care. It's just because you're only limited by Facebook anyway. So like. But in the past, too much text.
Basically, last month they took out the limits. You can write whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, that's it. But now, also not necessarily linked to how much your budget is. But if you push through a ton of ads, when you send an ad off for a review, either a bot reviews it or some spotty 18-year-old at Facebook reviews it. So like And if it gets done by the bot, it may slip through. Sometimes it might run for like a week or two and then get pulled. So
there are
you
also non-spotty 18-year-olds that also work for Facebook, by the way. We're not being prejudiced.
sorry, yeah, that's not. Yeah. Again, yeah. I see.
No. But what Charlie says is completely true. You know, especially now with COVID, whatever you want to call it, things like that. So they left loads of AI to do the job. You know, because all the people have been sent home and all that. And especially in the first month, there were so many false positives. You know. Like loads of ads were rejected, accounts getting shut down just because the AI wasn't trained. Now it's getting better and better, to be honest.
Right.
But yeah, also talking about the budget, you know, I'm curious to ask you guys, does any one of you know, based on the ad spend budget, when you consider a small page, so how much you need to spend in order for Facebook to consider that you're a small Facebook business page?
Good question.
Guesses?
No, I don't know. Go on, Charlie.
I'm not being funny, Charlie. You're the bloody expert on the page stuff. What are you pushing over to Deasha for?
All right, gentlemen, please. Oh, wrong way. Yeah. I mean, in terms of how much should you spend, the overarching story is, well, how much can you afford to lose? It's like when you go and play poker, you play it for fun and you will probably win some money if you're really good at it. But you would never spend enough so you couldn't pay your mortgage. There's always going to be a barrier of how much you can spend. There's always going to be, everyone's pockets are only so deep. But on a general ballpark figure, if you're local, I'd say you could start testing at like £5 per ad. And so chuck up.
That's per day. So £5
per day. Yeah. Chuck up. But this is where people get slightly put off. So if you used to put up 4 adverts at £5 each. I was going to say dollars then, at £5 each. Then you can test which adverts actually get you traction. So you can turn all of the other ads off so you save money. Or you can put the rest of that budget into that winning ad. Give you a much better return. But as soon as you start pumping out really good ads, your cost per lead starts to go down. So you might start off spending £20 a day, but then if you're getting leads for like, or sales for like a £1.19, well then chuck £100 a day. You know, once you chisel down and perfect a certain advert, and then just do more of that similar content to drive costs down and ultimately save you money and make you more per sale. But it's just a case of testing, I would say.
So just for my question was more about what Facebook thinks about you. So just for people to know, the people who are listening to us, if you spend anything less than $100,000 per year in ad spend, Facebook consider that you're a very small player for them. All right.
Yeah.
And then 1 million, you're in small to medium size, something like that for them. All right. And you need to spend over $10 million per year in ad spend in order to be considered a big player. So just to know, that's why sometimes even if you chuck like Charlie said, if you do it local, £5 per day, maybe. I'm not sure how you do it, Charlie, because I'm curious. You still do it? What you're testing most? The interest, the ad creatives, the copywriting, or what do you test most when you create?
Usually, I'd start with creative first, and once one of those adverts take off, be it a video or an image, or 2 different videos or 2 different images, I then run with that, and then I'd make a split test again with different copy for that creative, and then just narrow it down piece by piece. Because if you change everything all the time, you'll never know whether it's the copy that's working or the video. But I create first because people don't want to read, to be quite they will get interested.
Do you use the split test function in the Facebook, in the Business Manager, or do you test it manually?
I test it manually, just because you've got
one that works better.
Well, Facebook is good, don't get me wrong. Facebook's very good, but sometimes Facebook's also terrible as well. Or wouldn't make necessarily the same decisions that I would based on a lot of reasons. So I always go manual because you've got ultimate control over everything. And you don't have anyone else making decisions for you, including Facebook. But then if you could let it decide for you, if you're busy, you can set it and it will do the job for you. I'm a little bit.
you like to find out for yourself.
Yeah, a little bit of a control freak like that.
I do the same. Yeah, so just for people to know, I do exactly the same. I've tried a few times the split testing from Facebook, and it never really works. So that's why I usually do maybe one ad campaign with 5 different, I don't know, ad sets. Each of them has their own interest, and after that, each interest or ad set has about 4 creatives, 3 to 4 creatives, something like that. That's what I like to do. And sometimes, not on all the ads, but on some of them, Facebook allows you to put up to 5 headlines and 5 different text descriptions, something like that. It's a bit of a pain in the ass because you don't know which one is the winning one then, but I just throw all of them into one big.
Because they change that, so it changes them round, doesn't it? It flicks them, alternates them apparently to suit the particular audience that it's going out to. But I mean, not sure how they actually govern that and how that works. I think it's more random than anything. Must be.
Well, I've seen the same ad about 5 times. It's one of my ad, from one of my customer, but he's targeting me just because I've done it in that way. And every time when I saw it, actually was different headline because that's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a good point. So we were saying before about seeing the same thing. That's good because you're getting some different information, although you're seeing the same ad. So that sort of works. I mean, do you guys work much on LinkedIn and stuff? Do you do much with LinkedIn? Either of you?
Not me.
No. I don't do too much. I manage team members that do it instead.
Okay. Well, listen, if anybody is watching, knows anybody that does LinkedIn, I'd definitely love to hear about that because this is a really grey area. There are plenty of experts that say they will generate leads through LinkedIn. And all I found out is that all they're going to do is just send messages to people that are in your contacts. But I believe there are tools in LinkedIn that can be used for doing your ads and things quite well in a very similar way to Facebook. I haven't actually spoken to anybody that knows how to use that. So, Adrian, have you actually found anybody yet?
I don't like LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is a missing tool. It's a very, very, very good tool. If you know how to use it, business to business is got to be one of the most powerful. Again, sort of aside from Facebook right now. 1 second, I've just got something.
Yeah, but just same like Charlie said, at some point, I tend to focus on just one. I know about things, we've discussed about LinkedIn loads of times, but it's more like the Tinder of social media. So I fucking hate it. And I tend to stay where I still have things to learn and to grow and do that, and that's why I want to ask Deasha, for example, if you know what dark posts are and if you ever use them on Facebook.
Dark posts?
Yes.
No.
Oh, sounds dark.
Yeah,
it's not that dark as people think. Don't worry.
Not like the dark web. No,
not really.
Not quite like that.
In a way, let's put it in a way.
Only for ordering drugs, Deasha. Apparently, I mean, I don't know.
That's why I don't know. I'm too naive.
So sometimes, if you go and try to schedule, a post or something like that on Facebook, and you don't do it from your phone. I hate working on Facebook from my phone, just from your laptop or desktop, whatever you have. All right. If you try to schedule a post, you have the option to not show that on your news feed. We've discussed about that, Elliot, if you remember.
Yeah.
But you can do targeting as well. So exactly like when you do an ad, you can do targeting. So those are the dark posts. And I'm really curious if you ever use those to not show them on your newsfeed or any of your clients' newsfeed, but just post them and try to target people, see if they have better success than the standard post.
I haven't seen any major success with those because organically on business pages, my clients are getting very reduced reaches organically on business pages at the moment anyways. So we focus on groups and personal pages to make up for the organic reach that we're lacking on business pages and leave the business pages to Charlie so that he can run ads on them.
Do you know what? It's a good point. I mean, there's definitely been a reduced outreach on business, which is bloody mad. Bearing in mind, Facebook said in lockdown that they were going to really focus on helping the small business, and actually, what we've seen is a reduced reach. If we look at, just from my experience, we've got a business page for the business, obviously Forge Management, and we've got Essex Business Radio as well. We get a far better reach than we did on Essex Business Radio. Bearing in mind, we're not trying to sell anything really. It's just soft media. It's a totally different thing. And they seem to favor these things, whereas we looked at stuff to do with podcasts and things on Facebook in lockdown, there was getting no movement really at all. There seems to be a lot more movement in the soft media arena, the podcasts, the sort of the channels, the stuff like this is getting a lot more. And the business is definitely on the organic side dropped hugely. So your thing is get yourself out. If you're the representative or you're the business owner, use your own personal page to put stuff out through groups and maybe share your business stuff out, maybe.
Share your business stuff out. And there are ways to make sure that you're protecting your personal profile. Obviously, you don't want, if you've got kids and stuff like that, you can hide those sorts of posts and things. But yeah, making sure that your personal profile is joining groups and then sharing your business stuff over. You have to be careful. It's against Facebook terms and conditions to use your personal profile specifically for business.
Okay.
And as I said earlier, you can't have two profiles. So it does still have to be a personal profile.
Right.
So you can share the odd picture of your dog.
Okay, so keep it personal, but share through your personal profile as opposed to having it personal and then making it almost like a business page.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. And that's a great tip. I didn't realize that actually, but now makes absolute sense to do that. It's not something that we've done, but I suppose we might actually do that a little bit more than I think, just naturally. But yeah, that's a very good point. And then we leave to Charlie to do the paid ads. So it's very much the whole business side of things is really is geared, and there always has been really towards the paid ads and stuff through Facebook and obviously linking Instagram in with that as well is a big tool. And also, I think I can't remember what it's called now, Charlie, when you can choose to have it going out on other things that are, obviously Instagram, and then you can have it going into, I think, Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that. There's different channels you can utilize, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And there's also something called Audience Network. So you're able to pop up in.
What is the Audience Network, by the way?
There's like things that are external from what Facebook owns. So like websites or in news articles that are outside of Facebook, or an advert in an app. Or,
interesting.
I'm a huge mobile gamer. And and like the amount of adverts you see in there, which is completely not linked to Facebook at all. And
really?
Just things.
Yeah. Games, for example,
Sorry?
Do you find those convert, the Audience Network ones?
Not particularly well. The places I go for are newsfeed and for Facebook and Instagram. That's where people are looking. You're never going to sell anything for a story. In my experience,
but I suppose Audience Network, if that's the case, it's going to go out there again. It's being seen, repeated times. So you may well see it on those things, and then you see it on Facebook, and you go, how the hell did it pop up there? It's actually probably going to make you look at it a little bit more.
Maybe it's really powerful. So if you've got like an abandoned cart, or someone's been on your page and hasn't performed what you want them to do, sure, the retarget, go and follow them when they're in a completely different app, and you'll pop up there. And because it's a separate ad you show those people, you can go, oh, I bet you didn't expect me here, and make like a joke out of it. Which is quite good. For retargeting, it's much better. But everyone spends their time in the feed, so that's why I usually advertise.
Do you usually leave just automatic placements when you do any ads, or do you take some of the placements off and do the manual placements?
Manual placements usually, just because I find the feed converts the best.
Really?
Tested it to death, because it's like, well, have we spent enough? Well, the advert's good enough, So there's so many things that go into making an ad that converts.
Yeah.
So, but in the end, you've just got to bite the bullet and make a decision where you want to place your.
And do you also use different sizes for your assets? Like, obviously Instagram stories, they need to be a different dimension than the normal Facebook or the normal Instagram posts and things like that. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, so they're all different shapes and sizes dependent. So you don't want anything to get cut off or look rubbish, because they're not formatted for the for bigger phones, smaller phones, and different placements, like you say, throughout the newsfeed and stories and things like that. I think the reach, just going back a bit, I think the reach from September for pages is hovers between 3 and 5%. So they're not kind.
Yeah.
They're not kind.
Well, going back to what Elliot said, Elliot, Facebook helped small businesses a lot. They gave them the shop option for them to be able to spend more money on Facebook, actually, to bring people into the shop. So that's how they help them.
Oh, listen, it does help, but you've really got to have a budget for these things.
Yeah,
to work,
that's why
to work
it just
properly.
helped themselves. It didn't help any small business, right?
No, it isn't. It's still got a great way of getting out there, but you've got to really make sure that those ads are right. And we've spoken about, creating content and making sure you get these things right before. We've done shows on it, and we will do many, many more about them, because the more we can talk about these things, we've not really talked about this in depth before the way we are doing today, because this is really cool. But usually we have talked about content and getting those things right, and an audience and all those other bits about creating content. Still is never going to be enough talking about that, because you can never learn enough about trying to put that together. But you've really just got to generate some revenue as much as you can, and then just keep tweaking and getting that right so that it becomes more effective, and then you can up your budget, and that's what you've got to do. You've got to keep doing that, generate some revenue with it, take some of that revenue, keep that to one side, or all of your revenue. I mean, what my advice would be, have a budget. And if you win from that budget, keep using it. As you said, a little bit like gambling. You keep using that same pot. Don't, okay, you may have to feed it initially a little bit, but just work with that and then earn that money from it. If you can keep earning money from that, you can keep building it up. That pot gets bigger and bigger, and you are going to be with the big boys that are spending 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, 100 grand a month. And if you're doing that, the likelihood is if you're spending 100 grand a month, you will be generating anywhere between 300 and 500 grand revenue a month, based on rough figures of what seems to work for the big boys that spend that sort of money. And of course, if you're spending more money, you're going to get even better revenue generator from it. That seems to be the key. And you've just got to use that as success. Start off small and build it up. Definitely.
I agree. Couldn't agree more. And the reason why they make all of that money is because every man and woman on this planet is on Facebook.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we've definitely covered loads of different areas on this. I mean, I've definitely learned some bits, Deasha, on the more organic side, and I love the organic things if you can get that right, because it's free and we all love that. If you can then use that and help that to then feed, so that you've already got awareness, so that when you start doing your ads, they work in combination, even better. And then getting that ad spend right and having a look at those things. Now, I would absolutely recommend, if you've not used Business Manager in Facebook, that you learn it. And if you can't learn it, or it's not your thing, then it is definitely worth employing somebody like Charlie or somebody that does that sort of work, because you can lose a huge amount of money thinking you're going to get something right, or you just get the wrong types of people through. I've done it myself. I've spent good money and I've had leads. I've generated leads, and they've not been good. They've not been good leads because I haven't really done the ad right. It's not how you think it is. Think about the person that's receiving that ad and whether that is right for them. That's the way you need to look at it. Sit in your perfect customer's seat and see how that's going to work, not how you think you should put it across. It's not about you. It's about your customers and clients. And that goes the same for everything organic as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, listen, absolutely amazing show. Loved it. I mean, we'd absolutely love to get you guys back on at some stage if you're up for it. And this is a subject that we can never get tired of. It's always going to be changing, and everybody needs to know this stuff. Whether they're going to do it themselves or whether they're going to employ somebody, the more you know, the more you can help yourself out, or the better you can advise or instruct the person that's going to work for you to do the work. So great stuff, guys. Thanks very much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much. Loved it.
Adrian, your takes this evening are quite a few, right?
I always have takes, I took the fact that definitely on the organic side, we need to do a bit more and get a bit more clever, right? Stop posting, even if you post the same thing, but it still needs to be quite interesting. I suppose, Deasha, something that I think the content needs to be good quality. You cannot really post washed photos and things like that, right? Like I've seen it some people, all right? Actually, funny, I just want to say something. If anyone that's listening to us or you guys know Sam Owens, I've just seen his latest ad. It's just purple image, saying ad, and says, "This is an ad. I got your attention." Blah blah. But he's at a different level, all right? It was just, it's clever to do things like that. Sometimes you can do that. I was thinking.
It is, and it is getting like that. Well, listen, guys, where can we find you, Deasha? Where can everybody find you?
In my Facebook group. If you join the Facebook group, it's bit.ly/organic and visible.
Oh, like it. And is that it? Just there? Nobody, you can't find you anywhere else?
Or you can find me on Instagram at Social Treats, or you can connect with me on Facebook as well. My profile is so public, so you can come and check me out on Facebook too.
Excellent. And those links will be going to be dropped into the comments. And Charlie, where can everybody find you?
Also in my group, which is social media ads for local business owners. So a lot of teaching in there.
Excellent. And where else?
CharlieRobertsMarketing.com.
Perfect. Great stuff. Well, those links are in there. I know Charlie's got to go very soon, as we're going to be wrapping the show up, because he's a very busy boy and he's doing meetings at this time of night, which I absolutely love. So listen, if you want to know what else is going on, or you want to join these, check these guys out, then I absolutely recommend you do, because we've been a very informative show. They've definitely got lots to help you all out with. So you can check out the links. If you want to find out who we've got coming on next week, because we're live Tuesday, Wednesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. and we have many guests lined up. All sorts of conversations, all sorts of edutainment, as Charlie said. We love that on the show. But we absolutely love, we love to get engagement. So if you are watching this afterwards and you're watching this on a replay, put #replay. Let us know where you're watching from. If you've got a question, drop it in below. You can check us out on all social media, pretty well most social media, social media platforms, and Essex Business Radio, apart from Twitter, which is Essex Biz, BIZZ Radio. And also, don't forget, you can download the Essex Business Radio app free of charge at all good app stores, where you'll soon be able to hear the last 3 months podcasts that are going to be created, audio podcasts created from the shows that we've been doing. And there is going to be tons of information on there. And if you want to know anything in any of those shows and want to find out where they are, we will hopefully be having a listing in there where you'll be able to click to certain parts of the show to find out bits of information, because they are hour-long shows. We want to make sure you get to the information fast. Big love to you guys. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
And we shall catch up with you very, very soon. And if you want to get on the show, by the way, and we are looking for somebody that's a specialist in the LinkedIn area. So if you know anybody, then tag them below. But if you want to get on the show, then you can go to the Essex Business Radio Facebook page, click on the send message button and tap on get on a show. Elliot Bott, my little robotic brother, will take you through a few questions, and then we'll see if we're a good fit for each other. And we're going to get you on the show. But for now, I'm going to say ciao for now.
Brown cow.
Brown cow.